A presentation of the development stages of children from birth to 12 years of age. Our theories begin at infancy with object permanence, a theory of Piaget that maintains that children are born without the knowledge of space or the permanence of objects. This changes at 8 to 9 months, when a child will show that he knows the missing object still exists. Rudolf Steiner theorizes that the young child is almost entirely one large sense organ that receives impressions like a fingerprint will leave on a bag of flour. The main principle at work here is that of imitation. Developmental characteristics of children up to age 2 are that growth happens relatively quickly and in huge amounts. The children develop many skills from birth, including how to lift their head, communicate their feelings, and use their senses to explore their environment. There is an increasing ability to move around and also coordinate vision with small muscles of the hands, increasing skills in feeding, dressing, toileting, and grooming. There is rapid growth in communication and the increasing ability to remember people and things out of sight. The ability to imitate simple gestures with a caregiver present progresses to complex imitation of actions and patterns from memory. They begin to develop concepts such as the bib means food is coming, which is the beginning of symbolic behavior. The diversity of the children in these early years includes separation anxiety, where some children may move easily from one caregiver to another, others may strongly protest separation. Carers need to treat these anxieties with care and communication with relevant parties. Some toddlers who are reading regularly with their parents may like to participate actively in storybook time, whereas others want to listen quietly while an adult reads. Some children are encouraged by families to share possessions, while others are encouraged to respect individual rights of property. Carers may set up the environment with duplicates of favorite toys and create separate areas for quiet play and active movement. Some children have difficult temperaments showing in the second year, biting others or exhibiting frequent temper tantrums. This may require explaining that biting or hitting is not acceptable and leads to consequences such as being placed in a brief timeout. Some infants have not had social experiences and may need time to adjust to the presence of other children. Some theories of development for early childhood are that thought and language are separate functions for infants and young toddlers, and around age 2, thought and language becomes intertwined. Children begin self-talk, guiding their own behaviors through complex maneuvers the way adults have previously guided them. Self-talk eventually evolves into inner speech. Erickson proposed that toddlers have a strong will to practice emerging skills without restriction. Toddlers are motivated to explore a home's forbidden areas, yet not every culture agrees with Erickson that autonomy is a virtue. Some see this drive for independence as an immature impulse that must be tempered. It is important to instill the idea that the world is good and fair. Steiner theorizes that in the first 7 years, a child will assume the world is moral, in the second, beautiful, and in the third 7 years, true. The philosophy of Waldorf Steiner early childhood settings is that creative play supports physical, emotional, and social development and allows children to learn through investigation and discovery. Play encourages children to become creative, inventive, and adaptable lifelong learners. Vygotsky confirms Steiner's theory with his proposal that a child will be at his best and his best self during play. The developmental characteristics in early childhood include seeing the loss of rounded babyish appearance with arms and legs lengthening and taking on more mature proportions, boundless energy for practicing new gross motor skills, acquisition of fine motor skills such as functional pencil grip and use of scissors. The children are now able to refer to themselves as I, and also state their individuality with words like no, me, and mine. Dramatic play with peers allows the child to process and integrate ideas and events that have come up for them. Frequent self-talk, as proposed by Vygotsky. Overconfidence about what tasks can be accomplished. As educators, we must not intellectualize or discourage ideas, but focus their efforts on small goals. Children also begin to create self-constructed strategies for addition and subtraction, such as counting on their fingers. Also, they become familiar with division in everyday sharing tasks. The diversity of children at this age include a huge variation in home life. So children differ considerably in behavior. Standards must be made clear. For example, standing quietly in line and waiting for their turns. Children whose parents talk frequently about thoughts and feelings tend to have a more advanced theory of mind. Educators can bring songs and games and talk about various people's thoughts, feelings, and needs. The city versus country life brings differences of understanding of the natural world for some of the children. Carers can bring seasonal songs and also let toddlers interact with small, gentle animals. Socioeconomic and cultural situations, particularly for Aboriginal children, can diminish opportunities. Carers can make sure needs are met and opportunity is encouraged for all children. For example, making sure writing implements are easily accessible. Children who have sociable and easygoing temperaments tend to form and keep friends more easily than children who are shy, aggressive, or high-strung. We can praise any gentle, controlled, and constructive behavior, particularly in response to frustration or provocation. The second 7-year phase is characterized in anthroposophy by aesthetics, or the beauty of the world around us. Rudolf Steiner theorizes that beauty invokes and refines the feeling life of the child. Vygotsky distinguishes between two kinds of development. A child's actual development level is the upper limit of tasks that he can perform independently. Potential development is the upper limit of tasks performed with someone else helping. To get a true sense of children's cognitive development, Vygotsky suggests assessing capabilities both when performing alone and when performing with assistance. Development characteristics in middle childhood include steady gains in weight and height, refinement and consolidation of gross motor skills, and increasing ability to delay gratification. This is a perfect time to formulate and reach for goals. The beginning of silent reading around 8, that is, the internalization of speech. Niche picking. For example, a child already gifted at mathematics may choose to engage in extra math work that dramatically increases their ability compared to a child who hasn't had much experience with math. We'll begin to see massive differences in mastery of classroom subject matter. Children differ in temperament and sociability. Some are outgoing, whereas others are more reserved and shy. We must communicate the message that with appropriate effort and support, all children can master anything they put their mind to. We model appropriate ways of expressing feelings and do not tolerate any bullying or discrimination of any kind. We can introduce children to various adult professions and provide opportunities to practice authentic adult tasks. We can have low-achieving 4th and 5th graders tutor 1st and 2nd graders in basic arithmetic skills. For young adolescents, Steiner proposed the idea that development of the human being unfolds in 7-year cycles and subphases of 2 1/3 years each. By the 10th year, the child is in the feeling subphase of the feeling main phase, and the child's experience of objectivity in thinking now begins to be felt emotionally as the feeling life gains objectivity. In this phase, children start to criticize the adults in their lives and ask questions concerning good and evil, death and loneliness. Sometime around puberty, Piaget found children become capable of thinking and reasoning about things that have little or no basis in physical reality, and they can think logically about abstract concepts that contradict what they know to be true in the real world. Young adolescents will experience periods of rapid growth, beginnings of puberty, self-consciousness about physical changes, and fitting in with peers, some risk-taking behavior as well. Increasing ability to reason about abstract concepts, ideas, and engage with scientific concepts. New responsibilities in self-care, social and domestic realms. Some children will be more comfortable with abstract reasoning, and others less so. Have adults explore group work together. Create an atmosphere of acceptance and respect for diverse kinds of students. Do not tolerate any kind of discrimination, insensitive remarks, or sexual harassment. Be a role model by showing support and optimism about their potential for success. Have a commitment to physical fitness and good eating habits. Evaluate adolescents on the basis of how well they are achieving instructional objectives, not on how well their performance compares with that of their classmates. By communicating that comparison only leads to misery, we can hope to communicate to our students that they can be content with their own accomplishments.